Welcome back to The Pitch, an Ashland University men's soccer coaches show. I'm Cade Krakus, joined alongside head coach Nick Roberts. Coach, I appreciate your time today.
Yes, great to be here, Cade.
Yeah, it's good to have you on here. So let's just get the last week of play out of the way here first. Your thoughts on the two games you guys played?
Well, we've got to do better. It's the first thing that comes to mind. We lost 3-0 to Ohio Dominican, which was, a tough game. It's always tough being down there. But, to be totally honest with you, I don't think we played that well. I don't think we prepared that well. And ultimately we lost the game 3-0. So it was disappointing. And then obviously we went down to Kentucky Wesleyan and we lost a tight game down there. In fairness, a difficult place to play.
Yeah.
But again, we've got a fairly young group here. The message, quite simply from me, is we've got to win games. It's that simple, and we've got to do a bit better. So it was a tough week.
Yeah, and when you look at those games, is there any positives you can take away from what occurred?
Yeah, if you look at the Ohio Dominican game, I think statistically we outshot them 14-7. We had numerous chances. Woody was through with the keeper one-on-one, probably should have finished. Rodri Jimenez hit the post. So those type of things, but could have, should have, we didn't. That's the reality. So, but we played. We played well in open play. We had 2 goals disallowed, slightly offside. I think it was Sergio and Enoch. So it was a little bit one of those games. But again, you got to overcome these obstacles. So positives. The Kentucky Wesleyan game was, we put a lot into it. To be fair, I think it was. I think we played well. It's difficult down there. The field is smaller. It's a grass field. It's a little bit bumpy. It's 108 by 68, which is considerably smaller than our field. And I think teams will have a tough time down there this year. But we work very hard. But again, if you don't score goals, you're going to get punished, and we did. And we created chances. We had a lot of the play. Certainly a couple of calls for penalties, which I think were legit. Didn't get them, but you're on the road. It's difficult. We were 1-0 down in the first half. Second half came out, started great, and then we had a mistake from our keeper that cost us. And then I think Turbo scored a goal, 2-1. And very much it was the rest of the game us trying to equalise. Again, didn't get it done. As much as I can say to the players after that game, hey, you did everything, you threw everything you could at it, but in the end, the scoreline's 2-1, so we have to take that one on the chin.
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned it there, being on the road too. The week prior, you guys were at home for both your 2 first conference games. Do you think being on the road maybe played a case in some of these younger guys and guys who aren't familiar with the program?
100%. It's my major frustration right now is young players coming in that have come from high school into this environment, and it's just simple things. It's learning how to. I was just reading an article this morning about Luke Donald with the Ryder Cup.
Yeah. And
all the things he was talking about when they're in the hotels, and they changed the shampoo and they made sure the guys had good linens to sleep in, and there was cracks in the door where the light was coming through.
That's just hilarious.
It's the little marginal things that make a team and can push you over the edge, and those are my frustrations, that kids aren't used to dealing with the little marginal things, making sure they get up on time for breakfast, making sure they hydrate. Mum and Dad aren't doing this anymore. They're in college and they got to grow up a little bit. So there's some frustration there on my end, and that's things that I'm addressing with the team. And we've got to get up to speed with that, especially if we're going to use younger guys to come in and play for us.
Yeah, and I think the thing too, Coach, is when you have those minor things occurring and there's things that maybe players aren't used to yet, you got to have guys in the locker room who are stepping up and being vocal. Is there anyone right now for you that stood out?
There is. Flynn Toon is our captain. Ricky Soto, Enoch is turning into a real leader. There are guys there to do that, but you got to listen too, and so we do have those players. No doubt we're going to be spending some time today going through the video of Saturday's game, and sometimes there can be there'll be a little bit of tension there, and we have to ask the questions, and we have to be honest and upfront with the players, and the players also have to have a voice, especially for the seniors, because kids like Flynn, this is their last year, and they have to demand. The other players fall into line with the things that we need. It can't always be the coaches being the captains. At some point the players, especially the senior players, have to take responsibility, and those guys do that. But maybe we need a little bit more.
Yeah. And how do you kind of handle expectations moving forward into this coming week?
It's the same as it's been. It's just it's you got to take each game as it comes. I don't want to overload a young team with massive expectations. I want the team to understand that they need to prepare for each game and take each game as it comes, almost like a cup final mentality. Imagine this is your last game, and that was what I said before the game on Saturday. Look, imagine you got 12 games left in the season, and by the time you get through the next 6-8 weeks, you could be facing your last game until next year, next August, and treat it like that. Treat it like that. Approach a game like every game's your last game. So we're just trying to work on some of those mentality things that we've been really good at in the past, and I think if we can take care of those, what I call marginal gains, I think we'll push some teams over the line. But we have a good team, there's no doubt. But that doesn't always equate to winning games. You got to do all the other stuff. Yeah,
and the last thing I want to ask you is something we haven't really talked about this year, but on the development side of things, are there any young guys that you've seen that might not make the field this year, but have a chance to really make an impact on the program in the coming years that have really developed well and shown some promise?
Yeah, and we do, and we have a really good young group this year. We've got I think 17 new players that are here. We have a lot of those players. Now that doesn't mean to say that a lot of those players are ready to play at this level. There are several, as you know. I think on Saturday we probably had 6 freshmen on the field at one point.
Wow.
But there's a whole other group there, and one of the advantages of having our reserve league that we have with a number of other schools is that we'll get to see them playing games. I think on Tuesday night we have a reserve game against Tiffin, which is always a good one. So we get to see those guys in those type of games, and we can certainly even now maybe we'll see something that somebody's not given us on the first team, and we can move them up. That's still all on the table, and that's happened in the past. So there are plenty of young guys in that group. If I think Dylan Featherson from Ireland, he's a 6'5" centre back. There's Landon Clayton from Illinois. He's Corbin Jeffries that came from Spire Academy. There's a whole group of kids that I think will be very strong in the future, along with the kids that we have on the first team right now. Antonio Soto scored a goal the other day. Hayden Clark, freshman. Tom Woodward, 4 goals already, freshman. We're playing all these younger kids. But again, I get back to we need more. Although they may be doing well, we need more.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time today.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
We'll step aside and we'll catch you guys next week. A reminder that if you need anything else in terms of the Ashland University men's soccer team, head over to goashlandeagles.com. You can find the roster, the coaches page, statistics, schedule, you name it, you can find it. We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning into The Pitch right here on the Eagle Network.